Email.
Thank you, Sam. You guys emailed today?
Yes.
How about daily? Email's a pretty important topic. The average US citizen gets 120 emails a day. 120 a day. That's a lot of emails. Imagine if that was actually mail. 120 pieces of mail a day that you have to sort through, figure out what's useful, respond to. And if it's email, you're expected to respond to quickly, maybe within the hour, or possibly the same day. Now, there are many ways to improve productivity, and there are lots of classes that my company teaches around improving productivity, around one of these major pillars, which is email. And email needs to be looked at as communication. So what else do you do with email? Communicate. Now, the way we found a way to produce productivity immediately is through email etiquette practice. And email etiquette is more than just grammar. It's more than just writing a better email. It's about enhancing the tools that are already in your inbox. Things like search functions, conversation mode, and moreover, being a better communicator. That's why all of us are here, right? So when you want to be a better communicator, and you practice these practices, you'll actually get better responses. For instance, if you title subject lines properly, and you're more clear and more concise, you'll get prioritized by the person that receives your message, and therefore responded to quicker, and therefore moving on through your project a lot faster. These are important tactics. Now, I'm going to give you 4 in upcoming lessons, and these 4 are going to revolve around A, subject lines. The ability to give context and action in the subject line allows you to enhance things like search mode, conversation mode, but most importantly, it helps you set some intention around what the email is all about. It gives you an opportunity to let the other person know in a very concise and clear manner what it is that this email is about and what you're expecting from them. I don't know if you know this, but there's only 2 reasons you send an email. 1 is to inform someone of something, and 2 is to ask for them to do a task for you. So the more clear you are, and the more concise you are, easier it is for someone to prioritize that task request and take action on it. Now there are other functions, like I mentioned, search and things like that, that improve. Because if you can think about it, I have a client that does mortgage broking. And so as a mortgage broker, they have pretty consistent titles that they could go across. I need this document signed. Please send me these following documents. The more they create some standardization in their company, the easier it is to hit that search function and say, this client with this document, and pull up that email immediately. It stops that hunting and finding thing that we do, which wastes a lot of time in our day. And if you're thinking about 120 emails a day, 30 seconds to a minute can make a difference. It can make a difference in your whole week. It can get you back to your family faster in the evening to get to dinner, and it can actually give you your Saturday back if you're an entrepreneur, which you often sacrifice. Now, we're going to also talk about things like CCing and BCCing. People are CC'd to death. We talk about how that happens. What kind of managers need to create some policy around that? Because if you're asking everyone to CC you on everything and you have 300 unread messages, guess what? That does not boost your productivity. And it's a lie. You're not reading any of those messages. So what's the point? Now we're going to also talk about some basic things, like not using all capital letters in a message, because it sounds like you're screaming at everybody. So don't do that. Other things like not putting Comic Sans and colorful fonts in your message, because no one really gives a crap. Let's say Times New Roman is just enough, right? But those are basics. So we're going to have some handouts on the do's and don'ts of basic email etiquette. Most importantly, though, towards the end of our conversation, we're going to talk about when not to use an email. Everybody knows you're not supposed to use an email to break up with somebody. Everybody knows text messages are much more appropriate. In fact, they're like my favorite Facebook meme online at all is like text message breakups, where it's like, haha, I broke up with you. No, I'm just kidding. But there are often times where we start using email, especially digital natives. Who here is under 30 years old? All right, so you grew up with the internet. Now, my cousin who's 18 years old, when I told him I didn't have internet until I was like 7 or 8 years old, was like, what do you have? Outside. Right? So when we actually have this digital native background, we take for granted the fact that email is very easy for us. And we often use it as the most simple tool to respond to. But quite often, email can exacerbate a really bad situation and make it even worse. This is where that interpersonal communication comes in, where you need to pick up a phone, possibly go see your manager and talk about that. So throughout all of these lessons, I'm going to trickle these out in a time frame that allows you to adapt to certain things very quickly, and all of these lessons are going to be usable immediately. So what we're hoping for is that you take some time and focus on one thing at a time. So today I want you to focus in on subject lines. The first lesson you're going to get is about subject lines, and subject lines can change your inbox drastically. It can reduce the number of emails that you can get because you're reducing the number of back and forths. It can improve the productivity in everything that you do. And most importantly, it's easy. It can take you 2 to 3 minutes to get this habit down inside of a day. And once you get those immediate results, it builds some momentum. And finally, you should know who I am. I am Digital Ninja Consulting. That is my company. We like to have fun, so it's called Digital Ninja. We slice through tasks. Okay? And my background is in operations consulting, so we've helped hundreds of clients and companies turn their operations around so they're more productive. Because has anyone ever read the 4-Hour Workweek? Right? So I closed some companies in 08, 09, and I had a year to figure out what the hell I was going to do, and I made that book my manifesto. So I learned how to make 4-hour workweeks. And now I go and teach overworked entrepreneurs how to master the tools they use every day so that they can get to these much more efficient work weeks, so that they can get to their family, their friends, and the things that matter most. Because the Digital Ninja mantra is clear the noise and get to the work that matters. So I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next class. Thanks.